naming Diyos. Maraming salamat po sa buhay at lakas na aming taglay, sa liwanag ng kaisipan at sa pagkakataong maipagpatuloy ang pag-aaral ng mga kabataan. Gabayan po ang bawat isa sa amin. Anuman ang bahagi na aming gagampanan, naway maging maayos at matagumpay ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral na aming gagawin sa araw na ito. Patawarin mo po kami sa aming mga pagkulang at pagkakasala. At sa aming paggawa, ikaw po ang aming makasama. Amen.
Ang bayan ko'y tanging ikaw, Pilipinas kong mahal, ang puso ko at buhay man sa iyo'y ibibigay. Tungkulin kong gagampanan na lagi kang paglingkuran, ang laya mo'y papantayan, Pilipinas kong hirang. Ang bayan ko'y tanging ikaw, Pilipinas kong mahal, ang puso ko at buhay man sa iyo'y ibibigay. Tungkulin kong gagampanan na lagi kang paglingkuran, ang laya mo'y babantayan, Pilipinas kong hirang. Ang laya mo'y babantayan, Pilipinas kong hirang.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Reading and Writing class. I am Miss Justine, Allyson, Dionisio, and I will be your teacher for today's learning session. Brace yourself for another meaningful and wonderful lesson. But before we begin, make sure you have with you your notebook and pen. Take down notes during the classroom session, and of course, I want you to listen very well and keep your eyes on me. Now come on, and let's start the different techniques in selecting and organizing information for week 2. For today's learning session, you are expected to learn the most essential learning competencies for week 2. Distinguishes between and among techniques in selecting and organizing information, such as brainstorming list, graphic organizer, topic outline, and sentence outline. Now, let's start our lesson by having a recap about the last classroom session about written text as connected discourse. Number 1. It refers to connected sentences arranged to convey meaning and to provoke a specific response. Choices are letter A, clause, letter B, discourse, letter C, phrase, or letter D, sentence. Your time starts now. Time's up. The correct answer is letter B. It's discourse. Very good, class. Number 2. The author presented valid claims or counterclaims. Each supported the evidence to prove a point. Choices are letter A, argumentation, letter B, description, letter C, narration, or letter D, poetic. Your time starts now. The correct answer is letter A, argumentation. Good job. Number 3. This type of discourse is like storytelling. It recalls events chronologically. Choices are letter A, argumentation, letter B, description, letter C, narration, or letter D, poetic. Your time starts now. The correct answer is letter C, narration. Very good. Number 4. The authors inform, clarify, and explain a phenomenon. Choices are letter A, argumentation, letter B, exposition, letter C, expressive, or letter D, poetic. Your time starts now. The correct answer is letter B, exposition. Very good. And the last number, number 5. This type of discourse is commonly found in academic journals, letters, diaries, and blogs. Choices are letter A, argumentation, letter B, exposition, letter C, expressive, or letter D, poetic. Your time starts now. The correct answer is letter C, expressive. You did a good job. Now let's try the next activity, the detective story. Let's assume that we're detectives. Let's read and analyze the friendly murder case. Mary and Ben lived with their 4 friends. One day, Ben came home and found Mary dead on his sofa. He called the detective and policeman. They arrived and realized that Mary had been killed not so long ago. He interrogated all 4 friends. Mia was in the kitchen and said she'd come home 2 hours ago and gone to the kitchen. John was reading a book in the garden. He said he didn't leave the place that day. Jennifer said she had been swimming in the pool for 3 hours. And Jane was painting in her room. The detective asked everyone to show him their hands and found out who lied to him. Who is the murderer? How did the detective discover the criminal? He had 30 seconds to analyze and think who the murderer is. Take note, class, that you can share your answers to your classmates through Messenger. Your time starts now. Time's up. Now type your answer in the comment section. Again, who is the murderer? How did the detective discover the criminal? If your answer is Mia, John, or Jane, you are wrong. The murderer is Jennifer. If she had been in the swimming pool for 3 hours, the skin of her palms would have been wrinkled. The activity that we did had something to do with the first technique in selecting and organizing information. Using 4 pictures and 1 word, what do you think is the first technique? Type your answer in the comment section. If your answer is brainstorming is commonly used in an individual or group activity. The term was interpreted by Alex Osborne. He invented this technique way back 1953. Brainstorming is a technique commonly used by a group of people to show and provide a wide range of ideas in connection to a certain topic. Efforts are made to make a solution to a particular problem by gathering a list of ideas spontaneously contributed by its members. People can think more freely and they can suggest as many spontaneous new ideas as possible. All the ideas are noted down without criticism, and after the brainstorming session, the ideas are evaluated. We have several benefits in brainstorming, such as sharing one's idea, collaboration or developing a sense of collaboration, expanding one's perspective and view, and changing the mindset with one focus. We also have five simple steps in brainstorming. Step 1, explain the topic. Step 2, set time limit. Step 3, encourage members to give ideas. Step 4, record and write the given ideas. And step number 5, choose and clarify all ideas recorded. Take note, class, that brainstorming is very effective and useful in generating ideas. Now, let's have another activity. I want you to get a pen and paper. And you need to answer the question, which is more important, the artist or the artwork? For 1 minute, I want you to write freely and anything about this question. Your time starts now. Time stop. Now, class, the activity that we did has something to do with the second technique in collecting and organizing information. Again, by having four picks and one word, what do you think is the second technique? Free writing. You are correct. Free writing is a brainstorming technique. It allows the writer to write anything about a topic. The objective here is to write what comes to your mind, not minding errors in spelling and grammar. Free writing is also a writing strategy developed by Peter Elbow in 1973. It is an act of writing down your thoughts non-stop in the exact order, language, and form in which you think of them. This method uses the form of narration to draw a stream of consciousness out of the writer's mind. Free writing has three advantages. First one, it generates ideas. You explore a topic by writing any ideas that pops in your mind without concern for form or correctness. Second one, it maintains coherence. It maintains some coherence between the writer's thoughts. And the last one, you need to write quickly. The key in this method is speed. You can write as quickly as you can to create constant momentum for your thoughts to keep on flowing. We also have 5 steps in free writing. Step 1, you need to write the topic. Step 2, set a time limit and clear your mind. Forget all the rules concerning grammar and set a specific time limit. Step 3, do not stop writing. If you misspelled words, don't go back to edit. If the idea fades, just keep on writing. Step 4, when the time limit is finished, stop. Write nothing else. Then go back to the page. And step number 5, read and underline all the useful ideas. Slowly read your work and underline the essential and useful ideas connected to the topic. Now, let's play again 4 pics and 1 word. What do you think is the third technique in selecting and organizing information? Organizer, you are correct. Organizer, or specifically graphic organizer. Nothing is more critical to successful learning than the use of learning tools. Graphic organizers such as concept maps, Venn diagram, and story maps are important and effective for organizing content and ideas. They also aid in facilitating one's comprehension of the newly acquired information. Moreover, it organizes and relates ideas visually. It also shows the relationship between and among facts, concepts, or ideas using visual symbols. We have 3 steps in doing a graphic organizer. Step 1, write down your topic. Step 2, think for ideas based on the given topic. And step 3, select a graphic organizer. We have several graphic organizers. Now let's test how far you know them. Let's have this activity, class. What do we call this graphic organizer? If your answer is a Venn diagram, you are correct. Venn diagram uses overlapping circles to represent different objects or ideas that share similar traits in some way. The intersection or the area where the circle overlaps shows the trait that is common between or among the objects or ideas. How about the second one? What do you think is this graphic organizer? If your answer is concept map, you are correct. Concept map refers to a visual organizer that can enrich students' understanding of a new concept. It shows concepts and ideas and the relationships among them. You create a concept map by writing keywords and then drawing arrows between the ideas that are related. How about the third one? What do you think is this graphic organizer? If your answer is Venn diagram, you are correct. How about the next graphic organizer, class? If your answer is fishbone diagram or fishbone organizer, you are correct. Fishbone organizer was devised by Professor Kaoru Ishikawa in the 1960s. It is also called as cause and effect diagram or Ishikawa diagram. This diagram identifies many possible causes for an effect or problem. It can be used to structure a brainstorming session. It immediately sorts ideas into useful categories. And the last one, what do you think is this type of graphic organizer? If your answer is story map, you are correct. A story map is a strategy that uses a graphic organizer to help students learn the elements of a book or story. By identifying story characters, plot, setting, problem, and solution, students read carefully to learn the details. Now, let's apply what you learned in this activity. Let's watch a short film about Maleficent, a beautiful, pure-hearted woman who suffers a ruthless betrayal, an act that begins to turn her pure heart to stone.
Well, well. I shall bestow a gift on the child. Before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she will fall into a sleep like death.
Curious little beastie. Bring her to me.
I know you're there. Don't be afraid.
I am not afraid.
Then come out.
Then you'll be afraid.
All the other fairies fly. And why don't you?
I had wings once. They were strong, but they were stolen from me. There is evil in this world. Hatred and revenge.
Bring me her head.
I call on those who live in the shadows. Fight with me now!
Is it true? Are you Maleficent?
All right, class. Now let's use a graphic organizer, specifically Venn diagram, in analyzing the different and similar characteristics of Maleficent and Aurora. First one. How are we going to describe Maleficent? Very good. She is an orphan. Moreover, the protector of the forest kingdom named Moors. And the last one, placed an irrevocable curse on Aurora. How are we going to describe Aurora? She is King Stefan and Queen Layla's daughter, a child who grows to love nature. And she forms a bond with Maleficent. What are their similarities? They are both protagonists in the movie. And they develop a mother and daughter-like relationship. Good job, class! Now let's start and let's play again 4 pictures and 1 word. What do you think is the last technique in selecting and organizing information? If your answer is the last technique in selecting and organizing information is outlining. It is used to organize ideas about a topic in logical order. Further, it is like a blueprint or plan of your paper. Outlines arrange major topics, subtopics, and supporting details. Writers use outlines when writing their papers in order to know which topics to cover. Outlines for papers can be very general or very detailed. We have 4 steps in outlining. Step 1, identify the purpose. Before writing, make sure you understand and know your goals. Step 2, identify your key points. Think of the key ideas and facts you will include in your paper. Step 3, arrange and categorize your ideas. Make sure to sequence your ideas in logical order to avoid confusion. And step 4, start your outline. Write a draft of your outline. We also have 2 types of outline. The first one is topic outline. It is a type of outline that is made of a single word or parallel phrases. The second type is sentence outline. A certain part of the essay is written out in sentences. It helps you to become specific about the subject instead of generalizing. Our lesson about the different techniques in selecting and organizing information helps us to improve or to make our writing easy and well organized. One important ingredient to successful reading and writing is our ability to generate, select, and organize ideas. This can be done through brainstorming, making a graphic organizer, outlining, and many more. No matter how vital the information in a given text is, if they are presented in a disorganized way, the reader will have a difficult time understanding your message. Hence, it is not only important that we get sufficient and relevant information, we also need to present them in an organized manner. So there goes our lesson for today. Don't forget to answer your activities in your learning packet. If you have other questions, you may ask your reading and writing teacher. I hope you learned a lot about the different techniques in selecting and organizing the information. Until our next meeting, thank you and goodbye, class.